Welcome back to MTDCNC, my friends. As you can see, I have notes. Now, for those of you who watch a lot of my MTD videos, when was the last time you ever saw me with notes? I'm willing to bet never. Never with notes. But I'm with my buddy Nick today. We're at MMS, also known as Merrifield Machinery Solutions, and we have a lot to talk about. And I know that's not too big of a surprise because I always talk a lot, but today Nick gets to talk a lot of different subjects, and we want to share this with you. So Nick, first and foremost, welcome to MTDCNC.
Thank you.
And we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it. First and foremost, your machine line, because it's important, I think, to share with the audience. You have some for years and years, and you have some that you've only just acquired.
Absolutely.
So let's let the world know what you're currently working with.
Yeah, we've got quite a few options. Herco is kind of our flagship. We've been working with those guys for about a year and a half or so for Eastern Michigan. Eurotech, which we'll talk a little bit more later, but we've got twin and triple turret lathes, and we can also do single turret lathes with those guys. Recent partnership with our friends over at J-Tech Machinery, and they actually have a lot more offerings than most people really realize. My friends over here at ProMac out of Italy, those guys as well, 5-axis from small to very, very large. And then Takumi, who a lot of people, there's a little backstory with that, which I think we'll talk more about that as well. Mm-hmm. And then a recent development, which we don't even have a banner made yet, but our friends at Sodic that we are offering here in Eastern Michigan as well. So we're pretty excited about that. So
that's all some exciting lines. Now, if I'm being fair, some of these, they roll off the tongue, they're household names, and some of these I gotta know more about. So for those of you watching right now, if you're watching this video, but not the other ones we're making right now, just so you know, we're gonna go into detail about some of these machines to create awareness, because some of the price points are amazing. Some of the precision and flexibility and reliability are top of the line, but sometimes the name, it doesn't roll off the tongue like some of the others. So let's talk a little bit, if it's okay with you. Toyota, which is now J-Tech. So we're trying to create awareness. We switched the name, but J-Tech is Toyota.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, Takumi, owned by Herco.
Owned by Herco. Lots of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. Eurotech. Let's talk a little bit about Eurotech.
Yeah, Eurotech is a company that's been brought in. Actually, it's a couple companies. One is Belia out of Italy, which a lot of people don't necessarily know the name. Belia specializes in bar-fed operations, twin and triple turret. We have never actually brought in a single turret Belia, which is a little bit different. We don't really make our jobs very easy because we kind of play in that little niche market. They've also, as of the last couple of years, teamed up with a company called CMZ, or CMZ as I say over here. They always say CMZ.
Z in the
so,
UK.
Yeah, exactly. But CMZ is kind of more of the chucker style, although those guys are now dabbling in some twin turret machines as well. And then they've also got Polygym out of Asia for the Swiss line. So, but again, Tony, like you mentioned, our biggest battle with Eurotech is brand recognition. It's not a lot of people have heard of them, and that's usually the biggest hurdle we've got to get over. We've placed a few of them in the area. It's been kind of tough from time to time, being completely honest. But honestly, what we kind of push is get them here, bring them into the showroom, let them see a test cut. To this day, I don't know of a single test cut that we've actually lost that didn't turn into an order. So
I'm happy you brought that up. I'm happy for the honesty as well. And I was actually going to bring that up as well and go ahead, Nick, didn't you just remind me that you've never lost a test cut on the machine? So we need to know that. The audience needs to know that. Come check it out. Come see what it can do. Or just shoot you an email and say, this is what we're doing. Can you do kind of a turnkey operation?
Time study or whatever,
yeah, time study. So we can do that. Now, the other one, it's a beautiful big machine that I like to go a little bit in detail with, is this ProMac machine.
Yes.
What can this beautiful machine do?
ProMac is our hidden gem out of Italy, right outside of Venice, actually. We got the lovely banner here of Venice. ProMac is a small family-owned company. They started in 1995. The original owner actually still owns the company and is still very active in the business. It's honestly one of my favorite lines to work with, just because they're just good people. They're really good to deal with. If you have an issue, you can get right to the top of the food chain at ProMac in a matter of minutes. So in this is a 6-axis machine we have behind us here. It's actually one of the smallest machines they make. We can go up to 32 meters. So
wow.
Pretty big stuff.
That is impressive. Now we're going to segue into what I think you would consider what you're known for here at MMS, which is your service and your ability to not only service your own machines, but any of the machines out there, because you really care about the customer. You really care about their success. You want everyone that you work with to succeed. You want our industry to succeed, which I think is important. But before we segue into that and let you answer that, we get to go over to Venice together, right, and take a look at these ProMac machines? We're
doing it.
You heard it on camera, my friends.
I owe Mr. Lucho Carrero, the founder of ProMac, I owe him a visit. So Lucho, we'll see you this summer. Now bring it, Tony.
I'm coming to see you, my friend. With that being said, now let's jump into the service support and what that means to you and what the details of that are.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I started as a service technician. I still will do service occasionally. I got my hands dirty probably about a week and a half ago or so. It was a little quick 1 hour job, but felt good to get back to my roots. But we have, I believe, 16 or 17 service technicians, which is actually about half of our entire company. We've also got a full parts and service coordination team. We've got a new general manager that's joined us that is a service backgrounded person. It's really, at the end of the day, you gotta have something that sets you apart. I've spent a lot of time in the corporate world, as far as some other bigger name manufacturers, and I just really felt like we just had a big disconnect. It should be a very quick and easy transition from manufacturer to dealer to customer, and anything that gets in the way of that is completely unnecessary, in my opinion. So that's kind of what we're based around. Is we will not sell anything that we do not support. We carry the warranty on all of our products. I don't have to ask permission from Herco or Eurotech or ProMac to fix the machines. When my customer calls and says, "Hey, I'm down," we can jump right into action. So it's really who we are and what sets us apart.
Valuable insight, Nick, and I want to clarify for myself and the audience as well. You mentioned we don't need permission, we can work on this. There are a lot of situations out there where a spindle has to go across seas, even though there's, spindle refurbishers here in the U.S., whether it's yourself or some other folks that exist, but you have to have special permission sometimes, and sometimes that permission will never be granted. So now you're talking about lead times for months on end, and how cost ineffective is a machine spindle being down.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You've got $1 million ProMax sitting on your floor, and if it's sitting down for 3 months, nobody's happy. We're not happy. The manufacturer's not happy. We try to put ourselves in situations where we can eliminate as much of that as possible. A, by doing it in-house. B, by leaning on our manufacturers to carry the right parts. It does no good if you've got $10 million in inventory, but it's $10 million in goofy stuff that nobody needs. So having the relevant parts, having a knowledgeable staff that can decide, hey, what spindle is in that machine. And also, having a technical staff that when you do have an issue, is it the spindle? Is it the spindle motor? Is it the drive that's going? Sometimes you can go on a kind of a wild goose chase and, let's say we wait a week for a spindle and it's not the spindle, we got problems.
Yeah, and this is also something you guys didn't just conceptualize a week ago or a month ago or a year ago. When I look at the people working back there, you have so much wisdom and experience. So the audience watching that goes, you know what, I could use a team like that. We're talking about decades of information and support that goes into your service and support.
We've got guys that have been CNC service repair guys longer than I've been alive. So it's kind of odd when you think about it, but we've got an absolute powerhouse of a team. There's really not a whole heck of a lot that we can't do. We in the past we kind of would get ourselves in trouble every once in a while taking on the really, really old, the really goofy, time-consuming stuff. Now with the team, or the partners that we've decided to team up with, we've got a lot more of our own equipment in the area than we ever did in the past, so we're really focusing on our products. At the end of the day, you mentioned it earlier, I'll work on the competitor stuff, we will work on the competitor stuff. We do it because it's taking care of the customer. I don't really get too concerned about, oh my gosh, we're helping the competitor look better. Because at the end of the day, people remember who took care of them. And that's really a major door opener for us is, we're known as a service company. So, people say, hey man, you guys have some of the best service we've seen. And we say, well, yeah, and we're fixing the competitor stuff. Wait until you have our stuff when we can actually control the whole situation. So,
honestly believe that was brilliantly said and very well said. So thank you for sharing that with the audience. Now, you guys kind of currently consider yourself a full solutions provider? And I'm going back to my notes now for the audience, because I'm looking at machine and partners on here going, okay, Heimer, Lindex Nikken, GWS, WTO, Tungaloy. I mean, there's AeroX. Love those guys. Aroa. I mean, the list goes on and on as I read off of this list. Would you like to discuss with the audience why you've taken on so many partners and what that does to help support your customers as well?
Yeah, I mean, really kind of the common theme here is we want to be a one-stop shop for our customers. That's always been something that's been kind of a gap in our lineup, if you want to call it. And we had a opportunity with a gentleman that's kind of heading up that division for us to kind of broaden our horizons. So, like I said, at the end of the day, it's really about being a complete solution for our customer. And we understand that, people, there might be a few lines on there that, that are preferred by our customers. That's okay. We're just here to offer what we have, and we're pretty proud of that lineup. But bottom line is, at the end of the day, is we want to be able to help you keep your machines running, keep them tooled up, keep the work holding on them, add 4th and 5th axis rotary tables to them. Mist collectors, whatever it is, one-stop shop so you don't have to call anybody else. Because oftentimes what happens, let's say you do want to put a mist collector on a Eurotech machine. What can happen sometimes during the integration is, you get this finger pointing. Where the mist collector company says, no offense, this hasn't happened with our friends at AeroX, but sometimes I've seen it before where you're putting an AeroX mist collector on a Eurotech machine, and AeroX says, well, that's your responsibility, Eurotech, and Eurotech says, well, no, AeroX, you were supposed to do that. We eliminate all that. It's Merrifield's responsibility. We take care of it, and we deal with the who does what in the background. So it's really just removing roadblocks for our customers.
And might I add, because all of that is incredibly valuable and true, but might I add, when we also reached out to the audience and talked about service and support and, test the Eurotech to see if what we're saying is real. We've never lost a test. By having all of these partners you mentioned, you can quite literally bring your customers the best solution at a combination of all of these other partners that sometimes might be considered competitors, but by utilizing the best components, sometimes you'll find, well, what in quotes and unquotes of competition in the same machine, and everyone's winning.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're really, obviously we're biased towards our products. When I'm out there, I love putting Hercos on the floor, and I don't like seeing the other guys' stuff go on the floor. But at the end of the day, it's just make manufacturing stronger. That's really, everybody wins when you do that. And we've even had stuff where we might have a cutting manufacturer that we've got 3 different options for the same half-inch end mill. I'm no expert on that. I'm a service guy, but we've got our gentleman Corey that's helping with that. But really, at the end of the day, it's not about. It's just about finding the right solution. So whatever it takes.
And you called it already, Nick, when you said, at the end of the day, it's the customer's success that matters most. So to get the customers excited, let's now segue into an open house that you got coming up called Hot Rods, Hot Dogs, and Hot Machines.
Yeah.
So when is this event? And let's get people excited about your open house.
May 3rd and May 4th right here in Sterling Heights. So basically we wanted this to be a real event. Everybody's been to open houses where, this is really, really cool technology, but wow, they're cutting a mold. These guys are doing some twin spindle cutting, blah, blah, blah. Everybody does the same thing. It's a car show. Bring your hot rods over here. Come and hang out. We've got a possible big name. I can't say who it is yet, but let's just say they're involved with Herco. We may have a hot rod that a lot of people have seen globally here. So, but we've got a couple car guys on our staff too. So we're gonna have some really cool stuff, and it's just an excuse to get out, hang out together. Food, beer, whatever. Come out and have a good time and check out some machines at the same time.
And when we say the surprise hot rod, you're not talking about me, right?
Well, maybe we'll have 2 surprise hot rods here.
You never know. Okay, let's close this thing out. We've gone through the machines, we've gone through the service, we've gone through the technology that you've partnered with, and now gotten everyone excited about the open house. If somebody wants to know more about you, the company, do some research, send you an email, drop by your house, what's the best way to find you and offer them any kind of support?
Yeah, I mean, check out our website, www.merrifieldmachinery.com. We also try to kind of simplify all of our email addresses. So if you have a sales question, sales@merrifieldmachinery.com. Service questions, service@Merrifield. Parts at Merrifield. Tooling at Merrifield. Applications at Merrifield. Remove the roadblocks for the customer.
Overcomplicate this,
so
did
it's
you?
as easy as possible. So it makes our jobs easier and it makes our customers, ultimately at the end of the day, it's our customer success. If they're not successful, what am I doing here? So.
Very well said. This is Merrifield Machinery Solutions. We are in Michigan currently. Great line of machines, even better people. The people here are amazing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've learned as much as I had today. Nick, thank you for joining me on MTDCNC.
Thank you very much.